I'm Katrina, and this is Sew and Tare. Today we're going to make a waterer that will never run out of water. Your animals will never be thirsty again. So for this you need a bucket. I've done this with a 5-gallon bucket and it's going to work just fine with a smaller bucket, so I got a smaller bucket. The bucket should have a lid. On my other ones I have the lid that you untwist, but this was cheaper, so I'm going to show you how to get around that issue, because you do need to have it have air in the top for this to work. Okay, I'm going to need a float valve. So this gets installed, this is inside the bucket, and once it goes up to a certain point it shuts off the water. So this is adjustable, you can adjust this. Float valve. Need a bulkhead. These you can get at Tractor Supply, is half the price almost of Lowe's, so look there first. But something important to note about these is that they are reverse threaded, so they go that way. Okay. What this does is it allows you to put a hole in the bucket. Has 2 gaskets, one for the outside, one for the inside, and that allows it to be a seal for that. For both of these, we're going to be drilling a hole. So I have already looked at mine, and for the bulkhead we are going to be using a 1.5 inch. That fits over this, and the teeth of it is on the gasket. So that means the hole is going to be at the gasket. And for this float valve, I have a 1 inch. So this, again, it fits, this fits over this, but you can see it has the gasket right there, and that's fine. This one's less important that you get right, just because it's at the top of the water should never get up to this level. So if you go a little too big on this one, it's okay. Too big on the other one, might need some silicone. So let's get started. Oh, other tools you'll need: Teflon tape for plumbing, and when this comes out of the bucket, it's going to come out of the bucket and it has a female thread. I'm going to be connecting it up to this, which has a female thread, and then this is just the 1/4 inch tubing, and therefore we need a male connector. So make sure that, you know, whatever you have, if it's hose thread, use hose thread. If it's pipe thread, use pipe thread. If you need a hose thread and a pipe thread, you know, make sure you get the right adapter for that. I will be connecting to the bulkhead. I will be connecting PVC. So PVC is what's going to come out of here. This has a female thread on the inside, so we need a male thread on the outside. I actually found these I didn't see these in the store the last time I made these. I have a couple of them that I already made for my animals, but this already has the angle in it. If you don't have the angle, you'll just have to get an adapter and then put on a piece and then an angle, and it works just fine. Glue is the other thing you need, but I don't have it out here, so we're not there yet. And then you're also going to want, you know, your PVC. I'm using 1/2 inch PVC, but then you're also going to want, you know, T's and angles and end caps. So some people put on a shutoff valve, and that is great. I think with a bucket of water this small, we're not going to spend the money to do that, because we have found that if you make a plug, which we have, and shove it in there on the inside, it stops the water flow, and you just need to evacuate the water in the line in order to do any maintenance. So it's not an expense I'm going to do. But if you have an inline shutoff valve, that's a great idea. If I had one, I would use one. If you're putting it on a hose, you know, this will change depending on whatever your water source is, but I'll be putting it on side faucet, and so I'm going to put a double shut off here so that one of them can be my regular hose and the other one can be for this system, and it can stay on and never get shut off, and so my animals will always have water. I have two different kinds of animals that I'm going to be targeting this system for. One is for quail and one is for rabbits. So this is the one I use for rabbits. This is the drinker I use, and this goes based off of weight, so it goes down, and if that weight gets drinking anyway, if they drink that weight, it goes up and it fills. So it operates on the same principle as the float valve. So that's how this one works. This one always has water in it, that way they can drink out of it. I don't like the nipple waterers because, well, one, the ones that I have are the container ones, and they're so small. You know, you have to fill them a couple times a day when they have babies. So I have these in my rabbits right now, two of them that have babies. One of them I have a nipple water in there, and they work great, and I just think it's a much more natural way for them to drink, and I like these. And they're pretty sturdy. So for the quail, I use these poultry cups. It's the same things I use for my chickens and my other quail. So how this works is it's basically supposed to be empty. It looks empty almost all the time, and they will peck at this yellow part, the plunger, and what that does is it allows water to go into the cup. So when you train them to this, so there's no training involved when you use these. They see the water, they know it's water, and they drink. But for these, you do need to train your animals, unless you already have birds in there and they'll train them for you. So what you want to do if you are putting this in for the first time and they've never had this before is go ahead and you know, move the plunger all the way, and so you fill up the cup with water. They'll drink out of it until it's just a little bit in the bottom. And when they go to try and get the water out of the bottom, they'll end up bumping this plunger. And they figure out really quick that, oh, if I peck the plunger, water will come out and I'll get to drink it out of the bottom. So, I mean, there's a good, I don't know, 1/4 inch below the plunger that there you can puddle some water. And my birds use this no problem at all. They've been using them, and it's great. For both of these, I bought this. Now this is the 1/2 inch, so it will fit in line with the rest of my PVC. But it has this part here that screws in, and it has the same threads for each of these. So I bought these. This is under the chicken section, you know, for the poultry cups. It also fits the rabbit waterers, so that's good to know. And so those, I believe that's all the pieces that you need. When you are using the hole saw, you're going to get this bit with a nut, and you just put it teeth down, and you have to turn it. So there's a shape that has to fit in securely, and then put the nut back on. And this should be pretty tight. You should secure this pretty tight, and you might have to retighten it after every hole that you make. It's pretty common with this one. I got it from Harbor Freight. I don't know if the more expensive ones are better at it or not. So that's what it looks like when it's on the drill. And so what I have found is that you have this handle. I'm not going to use this handle. I'm going to make a shelf for this to sit on. So the handle to me is kind of pointless, or maybe I can use it to tie something onto or something like that. But what I have found is that if I put the holes on the same side, then I want to make sure that, you know, this doesn't get in the way. Or I can put one on this side and one on this side, and put the handle where you want it before you connect things, I guess is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, in this case, I am going to probably drill on this side. Now, when you drill your hole for your bulkhead, which is this, you want it to be an inch or so off the bottom, And the reason for that is if there's anything that comes into your water or in through any holes in the buckets or something, and it can settle all the way to the bottom and it won't go through the system and clog your system. So that's just good practice for any water container, is to leave a little bit on the bottom for the outlet. I am going to drill this about 1 inch off the bottom, approximately. All right, and then pry that off and, I don't know, play poker with it, I don't know. I am going to be making 2 of these, so I get to double duty it. So because we're putting solid lids on these, I need to drill a couple of holes for air to get through. If you don't have a couple of holes, then you just need to leave the lid ajar, which is nice when you have the gamma lid that screws shut. You can just screw it all the way shut and then back it off a little bit and it'll have enough airflow in there for that to work. If you don't do that, it doesn't have enough air to let the water all the way down. Like, there's some suction issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes underneath this lip, just to kind of give it some extra protection. And I'm just going to drill 2 holes. And so that's going to be above the water line, and it's also going to be protected from whatever falls down, and it will give us some direction for actually getting water. So, doing that to the second bucket. Now that that's been completed, it's time to put the bulkhead on. So again, remember that this way's tightening, this way's loosening. It's a backwards way of thinking. So, take off this part and one of the washers. This other washer stays on. Alright, I'm going to bring you guys in close so you can see this. This is the part that goes inside the bucket. Okay? Just like that. And hopefully you guys can see that. Next comes the gasket. And next comes the washer. Again, this is reversed. Okay? I'm holding this on the inside as well, so that when it tightens, it's actually tightening on the inside. So, there's only a need to use like a wrench or something if this doesn't tighten all the way. If you have a leak or something. But it looks like it's pretty on there pretty good. You always put Teflon tape the direction the threads are going. So this is going to be going this way. Right? So you can screw it in and make sure you're going the right way. Okay? It's going this way. Only need it a few times, usually. And I'm making sure to cover the whole thing. It's a little bit longer than the tape. Once this is in, it's in. If you take this off, you should take off the existing Teflon tape and put in new one. Okay? So. Go ahead. That's gonna be good. And I'm just turning the whole bulkhead so that this other thing goes down. From there, you can attach anything. So this is a 1/2 inch PVC. It is not threaded, and you can attach this to whatever you want. If you don't want to have a float valve and you don't want to have this connected, you don't have to drill anything more. If you just want to go out there and fill up this bucket until it's there and then have it go down however long it lasts, then you're basically done. This part just goes to the rest of your, this part will go out to your animals. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill another hole up here to put the float valve. And that means that this will always be connected to a faucet, which is always on. And that will provide my animals with full-time water. We also need to put Teflon tape on this connector, which goes between what ultimately goes to our garden hose and the end of the float valve. So this might be confusing because it is doubled, so just test it, just make sure you can put it on and pay attention to which way these are going. So twisting this way, going this way. Okay? Going that way. Okay, that's on. Next we know that this is going to be connecting. Oops. Okay? It goes in the opposite direction. Okay? So it's going to come this way. I like to connect these before they're connected to the bucket. That way I can get them nice and tight. And there we go. So that piece shouldn't leak now. And then I can connect this onto a 1/4 inch hose. That's just irrigation hose that I use. And then I have another one of these that will connect up with this one. I forgot to mention that these come with a little gasket inside. See if you guys can see that. You need to make sure that that is all the way in before you screw this on. When it comes to putting this piece and this piece together, it really is easier to do this part before you put this on the hose. Just my opinion, you can do what you want, but that is easier, I believe. So you also want to Teflon this. Well, Teflon this. Again, it goes on this direction, Teflon goes this way. So I've actually decided to go with the 1 1/8 inch hole saw because it fits more on the gasket of the float valve. So we were missing this small mandrel, so we actually had to go buy another set, which kind of sucks, but now we have two. Now for the one for the second aviary with the rabbits and the quail, I'm going to put this right up near the top of the bucket and on the same side. So the trick to use these is to already have it going fast and then press lightly as it goes through. And here's the little poker chip. Now for this other one, this is going to be inside my screen and porch on top of a rabbit hutch. The bigger ones with the drill in the middle, they're a lot easier to use. Anyway, it looks like my little poker chip is in there. That's just what I'm going to call them from now on. Take that out and smooth it out. So there's the hole. There you go. Now I'm going to take this piece here, this float valve. The angled part is the top. This is the top. So this, if you unscrew it, will make this looser, and so you can set this, to turn off here or here or here. You can set that in your bucket. So I actually like to set it kind of moderately, and then you can adjust that once it's attached to the bucket. So we have this washer, we have this rubber washer, rubber gasket, and then we have this assembly that we've already put together, right? So This goes inside with the flat top on top. Okay. See if I can do this so you guys can see. Then this gets on. Try and center it on that hole. And here's the inside of the bucket. Now that's going to be too low. So I'm going to adjust that right now. And, oops, wrong way. And set it higher. So we can, again, we can adjust that once everything is set up and there's water in there again. Always make sure you get your shavings out because we don't want birds eating that, even though we have filter on it. Alright, next up is to screw this on. It has a gasket, so it shouldn't need that tape, but if it does need it, we can put it on. Also, this is the same piece. This is the same piece as what's inside. So this you can, I don't know if you can see, that also has a rubber gasket on the inside. So it's all gasket. Now I'm holding on the inside. Alright. So there is our bucket. Now we just need to attach things to it. So like I said, it's easiest to do this. Put this on here before you put this on the faucet. And there is that part. So we're just going to hook this up to here. I'm going to leave one to be a regular faucet, and then this is where the bucket for the water is going to go. Again, you want to test. This goes on in this direction. Therefore, our tape will go in this direction. I really like this kind that has the twisty part kind of separate. Now, I can turn this whole thing so that any of this goes into the sink, and then this can go backwards. So because this is going to go in two directions, I'm going to connect one here and then use this T and have one go that way and one go this way, and it will work great. Whenever you're using this, it's best if the pipe itself is warm. I probably should have connected this before we screwed it in, but I didn't. And another thing you can do is you can mark with your fingernail so that when you push it in, it will you'll know where it got to. Wiggling also helps. For my purposes, I'm going to take it all the way back to the fence and clip it at that length. And I can't find my clippers, so this works fine. And again, these slide in best when they are wet, so I just put it in my mouth. And wiggle it on. So that is on. We're going to have one go that way and one go this way. So I'm going to connect the first one. We will show you where it goes. At least it smells good in here. The citrus is blooming. Some of these citrus has spikes though. That's not fun. All right, so I'm almost to the place where the water's gonna be. I have a lot left for the other side. This part didn't get filmed, but these are supposed to hold the bucket in. I think we need something better than that, but that's the solution. These are 45-degree angles. I thought they were gonna come out here, but this is the solution he came up with. So, I'm gonna put it here. Okay. Level. He's attached a fence board to the back of one of the rabbit hutches to give additional support, because whoever made these made it out of some pretty junk wood. Alright, so this still doesn't have any water in it. Once we put on all these PVCs, we'll do the water part. So, I have this cement, and we have a piece going down, and we're going to put an angle on it. It'll go, or we're going to put a T on it, and it'll go that way to come in, and this way to go over to ZD's cave. So when you do this, you want to do the inside of one and the outside of the other. And push it together, twist a little, and then hold, I think, for like 30 seconds. Well, while we are waiting for that, I can go ahead and connect the end of our hose. Are you pushing?
To push it?
Yeah.
Ouch.
Okay, this. No, it wasn't. Is that where it needs to be, or do I need to move it up again?
It looks okay there.
So this is the watering thing we're going to do for the rabbits, and it screws onto here just like that. So we're going to put Teflon tape in this direction. Okay, so we'll put that on once this is there. So something to check when you do this, just to make sure you clear that area. It's pretty level. Now we can adjust this slightly up and slightly down, and then tie it with a string or with a piece of metal to the actual hutch. Hi, bunny. Hi, baby. You guys see the tired bunny? is closing its eyes. Alright, I'm gonna go in there. Hi, Cutophile. Hello. Hello. Can you push that this way?
Is that where it's going to be?
Up. Right there, I think. Is that good?
I think so.
Okay. I think we decided we need to cut out this, right? You want to grab the snippers? Hi, babies.
You want to cut it or you want me to cut it?
You can cut it.
Oh, where do you want it?
Go up. I think that's probably good. Yeah. Because when they move around, it kind of jumbles it. Hi, sweetheart. You gonna push it? Somebody's smelling my side. I feel it. I think we need to wire that to the cage too, to the hutch. Is the gasket lining up?
Yep.
Okay, that should be good then. We need to wire it to the hutch. Hi, sweetie.
I think it needs a few more turns. One more. Should be
Good?
Should be okay.
So we've done a whole line of these and we're putting on the last one. I'm going to show how this happens. This is the same process as the rabbit water. You can see though this has a gasket and oftentimes they'll be like way out here, so you have to make sure you push that all the way in and that will help your seal. Then you take your tape. Am I doing this the right way? Yeah. It's not all the way there. Yeah, these gaskets can be troublesome sometimes. Alright, so you take your tape, go in the direction that it's going to be screwed on. Put it around a few times. That should be good. And then again, make sure this hole is ready for water to go through it. There you go. And next one, you just screw it in. And you can see it gets, the gasket gets a little bubbly, and that means that it has pressure on the gasket, so it should be good and solid. So we've already connected this up. We've already connected the part for the rabbits, and we're gonna show how those go together. Hi guys, excuse me. No, you might want to go the other way, Birdie. Go. Alright. I'm ready for you to hand me that. And I think you have to hand me it and then run outside to make it go together. Okay, so we're in a very tight spot trying to put this together. So I'm going to put it around the outside there. That's a little much. And around the inside here. Hopefully it's enough. And hopefully I'm not hitting the camera. You pushing?
Yeah.
Next we need to screw in the rabbit waters. Come here, little boy. Come see this camera. Oh, there you go. Hi, little boy. What do you think? Yeah? You think you don't like being held? Ooh, okay. He came up to me and pecked my hand. Okay. Right, we need the other water, and then we need to connect the plumber tape to it. Okay. Just twist that in. Okay, is it straight about? So what happens is when that float valve comes up high enough, that water will shut off. And it only comes in a little bit at a time, and so when they drink the water, every time they drink the water, a little bit more fills up into the bucket. And you don't really need that much water in here to make that happen. You can see it's getting close. So it starts to slow down, and it looks like it's stopping. So this is basically a lever that is pushed up by the water, and it's still going a little bit, but that'll stop soon. And then it'll be, anytime the animals drink, it'll fill just a little bit of whatever they drink. It'll fill up again. Pretty cool. So we did not actually consciously, well, I didn't teach him how to drink, but I guess Manuel may have filled up the cups. I'm gonna have to ask him. I think he did. And several of these newer quail in the second aviary have found their drinking places. He's gonna sample from every single one. No? All right. Well, we've seen more than one drink from there. We've seen more than one drink from there.